Babe, can you get extra water for the trip?
Yeah, I got you.
Why is my music not playing?
All right, we got water. We're gassed up. Let's do this.
You can just take me home. I'm not going on this trip.
What happened now?
4 years of my life wasted. You were just a waste of time. You're literally worthless. I told you I've been lied to and you acted like you understood. You got caught. That's why you're quiet, because you got caught. Who is Morgan? You got a girl's name in your Bluetooth, so obviously Morgan was in this car. Go ahead, talk. I'm really curious how you're gonna explain this one.
This is a rental car. So I'm assuming Morgan is the last person who drove it.
Oh my God, it's almost 5 o'clock. We should probably get going because we're probably gonna get stuck in traffic. Do you want a massage?
One of the biggest takeaways that I would like you to have from this video is that you deserve to be well loved. If you desire partnership, it is there for you. So I would say that romantic relationships have been the area of most growth for me. It's the area I've had the most problems in my life from. You know, I was in an abusive relationship for 5 years. In my early 20s, I dated men I should have never dated. When I moved to Atlanta, I dated a man who wasn't dating me. None of those things stopped me from saying I still want to be in a relationship. It is really important for me to be in a loving, romantic relationship because this is something I really want in my life. How do I do it then, right? So I've spent a lot of time, not as much time as getting my degrees, right? I'm Dr. Sharice, but a lot of time learning, looking for reputable sources on how do I maintain a long-term healthy relationship. And one of the biggest things for me personally, if you're watching this video, you probably also are a woman who's experienced trauma, is that the healing that's required is not easy. It's particular, and you will grow infinitely more in relationship with someone than you will on your own. Some people say that you need to be healed, whatever that means, before you get into a relationship. I think it's helpful to not be actively harming people before you get into a relationship, but that you're open to it, right? You're working on being vulnerable, like you're working on being more loving, you're working on accepting help and being loved well. And if you don't feel like you're ready to practice those things, then no, I don't think you should be in a relationship. But if your heart is open and you're asking for guidance from God or a therapist or a healer or whoever in the journey of partnership, then I think it's definitely something you should pursue. I'm currently in a relationship. The man of my dreams has found me. We found each other. We picked each other, right? We're choosing to be in this partnership. And for a lot of people, that's like the end goal for people who worship a wedding versus the marriage. I'm not married yet, but the relationship, health, happiness is what I'm most interested in. It's not important to me to say I'm in a relationship just to say I'm in a relationship. I want this to be the best thing in the world. Like, I want this to be the safest place in the world, right? I just want my relationship to feel good. And so that has required me to do some self-reflection, because relationships push your buttons. Like, you are going to be triggered in a relationship, and it should not be to the point of abuse or toxicity or anything like that, but it's going to be uncomfortable, painful, unhappy at times, and that is definitely what I've experienced. And so I wanted to share some tips on how I've navigated like this first year of relationship to be less of the traumatized girlfriend and more of the loving future wife to the man of my dreams. And no, I've never accused him of cheating. That's not like one of my things. I've never been cheated on, so it's not a fear of mine, but I have accused him of being controlling and of like not caring about what I care about. And that's been like a theme in our relationship, because those are parts of the experiences, the negative experiences that I've had before. So of course, my first piece of advice is address any unresolved trauma. Girl, okay. If you have a trigger and it's not real, like you're being triggered, but that is not a real thing. Like in the video I played, he's not cheating on her. She needs to go and sit down and figure out, why am I just jumping to this conclusion? Like, why are my responses out of proportion to what he said or did? Oh my gosh, I had a moment like that last year with my boyfriend. I was like, I So, whoa, where did this anger come from? And then I did a video on unresolved anger. I needed to go and examine that in myself. I did that by going to my healer, but you can go to a therapist, you can journal. I did some journaling, meditate, prayer, all those things that we already know about, but doing it specifically around, hey, God, can you shine some light on this area that I didn't know existed? This is me. Can you help me for this thing, this trigger that I didn't know existed? Because I had not had that reaction to anyone before. I've had like some toxic interactions with men before, but to a man who has shown me consistency and care and patience, there was no reason that I needed to go overboard like that. And so I needed to figure out like, what, girl, we need to address this, okay? I also signed up for 2 meetings with Rebecca Lynn Pope, who I love, right? There's so few people authentically talking about long-term relationship, and she's married and has been married for a number of years. And so I did her Soft Wife Life group coaching call. It was a few weeks. I forget how many weeks it was. And then I did a one-on-one call with her. And so I met with her, gained some insight into some blind spots. I also have a playlist on my channel about preparing for marriage that I think can be very helpful in, do you have the traits? What is it that you need to look at further? What do you need to examine to prepare you to be in, a very serious long-term relationship? It's been very helpful to me, right? There have been areas that I've healed since being in this relationship, and it's been so helpful, so beautiful, so refreshing is not the right word, but like so much lighter and so much more clarity on things I didn't even know I was unclear about. My second tip is to have deep, real conversations with your partner. And so in general, when I'm talking to, women who are in the early stages of dating, it's important to ask certain questions to know if you are a good match for this person. But after you all have decided, it's you and me, like we in this together, what other questions are there that might be helpful? It's very, very important to let your partner know when you're feeling insecure or when you're having difficulty being vulnerable, or if they did something you didn't like, to then make it a conversation where you're curious, not attacking, to find out what their perspective is, and for them to find out what your perspective is so that you all can continue supporting each other. I was watching one of those lives by Dr. Heavenly just recently with Carlos King, and they were talking to some woman that's on one of those reality shows I don't watch. But Dr. Heavenly, I thought, was giving really great advice, telling the woman that you need to talk to your man. And if we're having a disagreement and it takes us until 4 a.m. to come to a conclusion at this disagreement, you need to talk it out. And so I think it's helpful to listen to women who appear to, like, you don't never really know what's going on in anyone's marriage, but to women who appear to be happy in their marriages on, like, how are y'all navigating conflict? Like, how are y'all dealing with these things? And most of the people in long-term relationships say, keep talking, keep having those conversations. Talk about the difficult things if you need to. Don't go to bed angry, like talk it out, like continue talking to people. And you'll find that a lot of the, relationships that end in divorce, or that people, stop working on the relationship, they stop talking. Like they stop having conversations just in general. So they don't even talk about the difficult things. They don't talk about the good things. They don't talk. And so it's just really, really important that throughout the whole process, you schedule time to talk. My boyfriend hates talking about like the scheduling of things. He's much more spontaneous than me. Like, oh, let's go. Schedule time to talk. Like make time, prioritize your partner, and letting them know there's something important that you would like to discuss. And my number 3 tip I actually got from my boyfriend. He was talking about, remember that you all are 2 different people. It's okay that you all don't like all the same things. It's not necessary for you all to have everything in common. And that it's very, very important to not test your partner. We do test, I think, unconsciously because we want to see if they care or make sure that they're going to do what they say they're going to do. But once you get into a relationship, like, you don't, like, it's not helpful to test your partner. I've definitely tested this man, right? Like brought something up in a certain way to see if he's gonna pass the test. Not thinking about it in a way of passing the test, but these unconscious drives of, bringing up a certain topic at a certain time that didn't need to be brought up, but was brought up for a very strategic reason, right? Bordering on manipulation to try to get what I wanted from the situation. It's very important not to test your partner. It's very important to acknowledge that boundaries are important even in your relationship. Having alone time, even if it's not like alone time, but prioritizing your likes and not only doing the things that your partner likes. The overall premise is it's important to have boundaries even in this very, very important romantic relationship, because if you lose yourself in a relationship, if you make your whole life about this relationship, you will become resentful. You will feel unfulfilled, and maybe you won't even know why, but there are going to be things you ignore from other areas of your life that are just as important as being in this romantic relationship. Let me know if you have any other tips for women who've had some difficulties in the romance department. Share this video with a woman you think would benefit from some tips on how to not be so crazy in her relationship with a man who loves her. I mean, loves her, okay? Give this video a like, subscribe to my channel for more videos like this, and thank you for watching.